incredibly, remarkably gifted Lee Weeks, who kind of, you know, we got him on board. We said, Lee, you want to draw Superman? And he said, sure. So we gave him the guy in the mask. We'll make that afterwards somehow. But it was fun to work with Lee again. Lee and I had not worked together since we did some door work quite a long time ago. So it was fun to get back and work with Lee again because he is so incredibly talented. And if we just look through the pages a little bit, you can kind of see the sense of power and majesty that he brings to both Shazam and Superman. And he ultimately really ended up having a lot of fun with this. And as I said, this really starts to get into the background of the story of what has happened between Billy and Kal-El and why they do what they do now and where they've been the last 5 years and why their lives have changed so much. The next one is. There you go.
All right. Mr. Paulette, speaking of Future's End, World's Finest has had a major change.
World's Finest is finishing up its run with Huntress and Power Girl. It was great fun to be working with those ladies again. So for the 5 years later issue, I think it's up there, we play like everybody else in the future, and it's really a crappy future. So if you go to the next slide, you can see the first taste of absolutely wonderful art we have on this issue. We have Mildred Chinar, who is an extraordinarily talented Turkish artist who's done a bunch of stuff, but inked by Paul Murray, who has never worked with him before, and is just one of the great artists of the UK for so many years. It's a really fascinating combination. And you have a really frustrated and angry Power Girl breaking into prison to try and be helpful. Next slide. Breaking into prison isn't necessarily any easier than breaking out of it. And in fact, once you're in prison, you may never get out of there. And we have one more slide from that issue. And then we don't have stuff to show you from the next sequence, but the next 6 issues of the book really represents a unique challenge. The guys gave me the opportunity of figuring out what the secret history of Superman and Batman on Earth 2 was. When James Robinson launched Earth 2, he launched it with the death of these characters. And we really didn't learn too much about what happened during their lives. So we get to do 6 issues exploring everything from how Krypton ended on Earth 2 to how these guys grew up and how their relationships were. And like any classic sort of Elseworld or alternate world or multiversity world, some of the things have to be the same. Kind of feel like Krypton has to blow up. But much of it doesn't have to be. And Krypton doesn't blow up for anything resembling the same reasons. In fact, it's somebody's fault that in classic DC continuity would be much more of a hero in the process than he ends up being here. And we get all sorts of interesting moments to play with the reality, including the second issue, Wonder Woman showing up, age probably 200 or 300, to defend Clark Kent, and Bruce Wayne, age probably about 4 or 5. Interesting kind of older woman, younger man moment.
Not too much. That wraps up that portion. What do you think? Should we try Q&A?
Sure.
Yeah? Let me just done. We will line up right here. I'll bring this mic down and see if we get some early fashion so you can ask these guys questions.
You want me to walk over there?
I certainly do.
My question is about Pandora. It's been 4 years since we saw the creation of the New 52, and we still don't have the whys and hows of Pandora created. Are we ever going to get that?
Bobby, you might want to be up here, because I suspect you're going to answer a few of these. Yeah.
I know we get a lot of questions at the conventions about filling in, right? Because the old universe was so well defined, and the new 52 is still evolving. And it really is up to the writers, all the creators, to decide those moments. And we just don't want to, you know, we don't want to rush things, finding everything out of the world. So, I can't quite say.
I gotta say, I love the multiversity series and us too. Maybe I'll be cosplaying as Baltimore tomorrow during the convention. And with that, I got a question for you to ask, to you guys. So, does us 14 and us 24 constitute the universes of the Arrowverses I've seen on CW and the movie verses, just the Man of Steel and stuff? How do you come from that for me?
No, they are not. We've seen a little bit of cross-pollination in the Arrow show, obviously.
I know, but the Arrowverse and the Man of Steel verse are us 14 and 4 respectively. They're not us as far as.
We're definitely keeping them separate. We're not going to be married to their continuity, we're not going to be married to ours.
Okay.
I noticed Jeff Lemire is not here. I have a surprise for him. Being a big fan of the new Justice League United storyline and comics, I really loved his Justice League United comics, and I've been thinking that he should expand the team from 8 to 14.
You know how hard it is? Ask this guy how hard it is to write 14 characters.
my mind.
Well, either way, I want you to give this to Jeff.
I can send that to Jim. Thank you.
And tell him that, it's my idea for the team.
I've always liked Batman and I was a big fan of the Arkham games. And I've always liked just how it was like the character he played, but I've also really liked the Young Justice League and also as well the Teen Titans. For a while I've been kind of curious if you're going to bring back the old Teen Titans in 52.
Never say never, but there are no plans for it. It's really going to be what the writers want to do, where they're going to take the characters.
About the new Booster Gold thing that you guys are doing. Are you guys ever going to bring Nick Core to do it? Interact with things, I don't know if you guys want to say.
The question is, are we going to bring, Ken Ford will not be in this issue of Booster Gold.
Not the issue, but just.
Ted Ford will not be in that issue of Booster Gold.
How's it going? My question is for Greg Capolo. I was wondering if you and Scott had talked about revisiting the building that you created in order to outfit.
All right, what do you want to ask me? The Court of Arms? All right, so the question is, if Scott and I ever talked about bringing back any things that we created with the Court of Owls. Listen, that stuff's too cold, too cool to leave cold, right? We're gonna bring it back, everybody likes the cameras in. Right? And we're all curious about what's the Mars thing. So of course, we're gonna come back and do that at some point, you know? It's just too good to just leave cold, so yeah. All right.
Okay, so piggybacking off of that, thank you all for being here, first of all. But also piggybacking off that question. So Talon has been canceled with Calvin Rose. Do any of you have an itch to maybe reach into those canceled titles or possibly try and resurface those canceled titles as from an artistic standpoint? And if so, which titles would you have an interest in?
You know, I just drew the lead character from Talon for somebody a couple weeks ago, and I thought he was just a great know I love to draw them. There are a lot of characters that, you know, have been around for a little while, get a little underused, that, you know, the right, especially I think it really comes down to the right writer, having a vision for that character, and, you know, I love what they're doing with Talon. I'm sure he will be back. Yeah.
Thank you all.
Hello?
Hello? Hi.
Well, as I'm sure it's no surprise to anyone here that Batman has reached 75 years, an impressive feat, to say the least. So I pose to you, DC
Superman 76. Same.
I pose to you, DC writers and artists, respectively. Riddle me this. What do you like most about Batman, and why, oh why, do you think he's endured for 75 years now?
Well, for me anyway, apart from him looking awesome, is, you know, he's an overcomer. He overcame a lot of the bad trauma in his life, and he made success of it. That's one component, because we all have our struggles, and to overcome struggles is victory. So, because there's two paths in life, there's either a victim or there's the victor. And a lot of times that's a very conscious decision, whether you realize it or not. And Bruce Wayne chose the path of the victor instead of what would have been very easy to put himself in the category of victim and stay there. So that's number one. So we all appreciate and identify with that. And then the other thing for me is, you know, a lot of us, you know, we face injustice in the world, and sometimes when we go the proper channels to seek justice, whether that is involving police or involving the courts or along that line, and still justice isn't served. And the fact that Batman just goes around that and gets his justice is something we all be vicariously live through, because it's what we've been all up to do when we meet with the frustration that we can't get the justice that we know we deserve, and Batman gets that justice done. So, looks cool, can kick ass, is not a victim but a victor, and gets justice where sometimes justice is denied. For me. I've been doing this lately, this whole show. I don't know where that came from, but I want to stop. Help me to stop.
One more time.
Harley?
Hi. I have two things, if that's okay. One for the new Batman Arkham video game, Arkham Knight. They say if you pre-order it, you can play as Harley Quinn. How is she gonna move around, like how Catwoman used her whip to get from building to building, and then Batman used his grapple hook? How is she gonna do something like that?
Oh, no.
And how would a person get involved with these comics? Like if they wanted to do voice acting or rock?
I just first have to say your costume is great, and the way you're speaking, just it's amazing.
Yeah.
We give you the job right now, right?
The voice acting part, Warner Brothers has benefited from many, many years of this incredible woman named Andrea Romano, who is the director, basically the director of voice. I don't know what her technical title is. I would send her a voice to it. And most of those things go through agents. I don't know whether sending one just over the transom will work, but that's the start in that world. You develop a voice tape, you begin to work with commercials and other things. You have an interesting articulation. Maybe that's a cool world that's open to you. For getting involved with DC, it's actually a really interesting time to get involved with DC, because since the company is moving a lot of its offices from New York to California, there are going to be more open jobs at DC Comics in 1 year than ever in the history of the company. So if you're willing to work in Burbank, California, and you think you have useful skills for DC, keep an eye on TimeWarner.com, their look at the job site. Apply to help for every possible thing that you think you're equipped for. And who knows?
WBJobs.com. WBJobs.com.
WBJobs.com. It's a great moment to see if you can break in. There has never been anything like this.
question is, with everything going on with the future and multi-university, and it's been a couple of years since we've seen them. I know we have JL 3000. Will we be seeing the Legion of Superheroes anytime soon? Or will they be popping up to help or a new book or anything like that? They've been gone for about 2 years. This is like the longest we haven't seen them in one specific book. So I was just wondering.
They'll be back.
They will.
It won't be my turn again, but they'll be back.
Not actually going on.
My question is for Mr. Gray. I know that Batman's costume has changed over the years throughout different series. Are you going to do any like special costumes for the 75th anniversary?
Well, I don't know. I was happy to get the opportunity to change the costume, really radically for the 0 year. Before I even signed up to begin Batman, Jim Lee designed all the costumes for all the characters for the DCU relaunch there. So whether or not another opportunity arises, I can't predict. All I know is, and you can count on it being badass.
Okay, so obviously Batman has been around 75 years, Superman's been around 76. With the New 52, it's only been around 3 years and changed all the numbers. Are we ever going to see Action Comics number 1000?
Maybe, hopefully.
But I know what they did with Batman in the 900, which was cool, but I don't know. With multiversity, I can see that one of the universes or one of the 52 universes might be the old universe. And I did like the way they handled the Adventures of Superman. I guess the Adventures of Superman when they did the Mandy, episode.
Yeah.
Keep up great work.
Thanks.
I think we have time for, let's see, I think.
Well, let him come
two
on.
more questions after you go.
What's up, buddy?
Yes. What's up?
Good, how are you?
Huh?
Good?
Good question.
Yes, I do. Like, since Teen Titans has feature and where does Teen Titans feature and take place in the other books and stories?
So the question is, what happened to the Teen Titans that are mentioned in Future's End, and where do those stories take place?
Yeah, like I know the timeline, but where the story takes place.
Okay, well, we've seen Red Robin, right? We've seen him, and I think what you're going to be seeing as the series unfolds, we have in Future's End, number 21 starts to explain a little bit more about what happened to the Teen Titans and what happened on them.
Sir.
Okay.
With the multiverse comics, you ever gonna do a Red Hood? A Jason Todd Red Hood in the multiverse?
Not in our script. And not yet. I don't know.
Not yet?
That does it for us. Thank you very much.